Welcome to the BTA Podcast. BTA, the voice of business travel.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to BTA Pulse, the podcast where we chat about what's been going on in the world of the BTA with myself, Clive Wratten, and
Andrew Clarke.
So here we are, deep into summer. Things a little bit quieter on the events stage for us, but one or two more to go. But business travel still cracks on, and I know one of the big issues that we've kind of been looking at and following is just getting into Europe, frankly, through ETIAS and ETIAS.
Yes, few challenges in that sense, isn't there, Clive? I think you put a nice little post out the other week when you were on your travels, but I think there's not just you. I think other people have been having the same old challenges getting in and out of the European borders.
Yeah, it's a real frustration that it's just not working properly. But the news this week that people will have picked up on is the next stage, which is ETIAS. And I think this is a bit confusing for people, right? There's EES and ETIAS, which are kind of two different things but the same. So ETIAS is the one where you have to pre-apply and pay €20, is it? I think.
Yes, €20. Yeah.
Yeah, for 2 years, which was the kind of follow-on from the entry and exit system that has been integrated and frankly not working particularly well. But we've been seeing that is now going to be delayed from the end of this year. I think it was October, is due until Q1 next year. So there's an admission that it's not ready from the EU.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because, like we've always said, we still have a vast amount of travellers that are travelling on behalf of their businesses right throughout the summer periods. So it'd be interesting to see any impact once the volumes of leisure travellers add to those volumes as we enter the next few weeks. I think schools have already started breaking up. So I would suspect that people are already starting making their annual pilgrimage to the shores of the European continent. Therefore, we'll see how that impacts access and people getting in and out of countries safely. Although I did see a post yesterday. Bank of Dave were on the social media channels, arriving into Manchester with a 3-hour delay getting through customs as they arrived.
Here in the UK, in Manchester.
In Manchester, yeah, a 3-hour delay. So I'll check into that and see how I'm sure he'd have posted once he got through. So I'll get an update on that. But yeah, that was quite interesting. Arriving into Manchester on a Sunday with a 3-hour delay. So
because the UK have been okay with this, right?
The UK have been okay. Yeah, we've not had any impact really for people arriving in, especially the foreign nationals that have come in and had to apply for the e-visa to get into the UK. We've not had any issues around that, and certainly no negativity from either the press or for people travelling. So I think our system seems to have gone unscathed, whereas Europe, I think because of the complexity of all different countries using their own systems and processes and so forth, I think that just added to some of the complex challenges.
But they had 10 years to put it together to make it work.
Oh yeah, they've had plenty of time. Yeah, but it still has to go via the EU and via Brussels and everything else, right?
It does. Bureaucracy rules, right, everywhere we go, and that's part of it. But there is still a lot of interest, and I do suspect a lot of media interest through the summer as people get stuck in queues, and we will be putting our hands up and saying, don't forget, business travellers are getting impacted by this. In fact, I did a quick interview with a journalist last week on that, going, why are business travel concerned about it? I was going, well, it's not stopping business travel. It's just making it a bit more stressful, a bit more planning. So if you're going out for a day trip, can you do it? Do you need to stay over just in case you miss? And I said, a lot of it, is just building around cost and time and everything else around business travel, which is unnecessarily frustrating. So, at least some people are noticing it. So we'll see how that develops. Although people, I guess, ending sort of the World Cup and going into the summer holidays, so people desperately travelling around and about one way or another and wanted to get back to see games kicking off. So we don't want any delays. But,
no, and to be fair to the DfT, I mean they've kept us informed all the way along. The kind of keeping the lines of communications open, inviting us to calls to listen in. So we'll keep doing that throughout the summer, I would suspect. I think the next call is due in a few weeks' time. I think certainly once we've seen the first raft of people depart the shores after the summer break, and we'll get an update from then on what's happening. So we'll keep everybody who comes and listens to our little chat informed.
Yeah, and of course, one of the things we do at the BTA is keep our members informed of stuff going on. I've just recently sent out a brief on the fuel price because, again, unfortunately, it seems like things are a little bit more unsettled in the Middle East again, and we're seeing a bit of a spike on the fuel price as a result. But we send all of those details as soon as we get them through to our members so they can inform our customers on trends and what they need to plan. But I do hope that settles down again because it does present us with a huge issue if the Middle East is a difficult place to get in and out of, and the impact of the cost to us as travellers is always an issue, clearly, as we move into the second half of the year. But in other things that we've been up to at the BTA, things we can control. Yeah,
Yes.
well, more lighter news. Well, we've got 2026 conference. I don't know if that lighter. It's important, but it is a chance for a bit of networking, of course.
It is. It's our annual pilgrimage across to the shores, right? Because that's what we try and do is we promote traveling for business out of the UK, which is what a lot of our TMCs manage on a regular basis. So I think we've got a fairly good number already signed up. Still a few weeks to go for the last remaining passengers to get on board. But everything's done in terms of agenda, location, speakers. We're all pretty much signed, sealed, and nearly delivered, right, Clive?
We are absolutely. You just need to sign up and get yourself along. But we are heading to Alicante, one of the airports on the list of where the queues have been the longest. But don't let that put you off because we will be outside of the school holidays and we will make sure our members and partners, through the airport as quickly as possible. But yeah, really looking forward to it. Actually, we've just recently gone out and announced that we've got Steve Richards, the BBC4 journalist who we've had at our conferences before, and it always goes down extremely well with his very unique view on British politics. And of course, as always, there's not been much going on, so I'm not sure how he's going to get any content from a UK politics perspective.
I've no idea. I mean, we're going to be a couple of months into the new Prime Minister's reign by that point, so I'm pretty sure he should be able to get a few lines, right, to share with the audience on how he feels things are going.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Burnham, assuming he is Prime Minister, of course, that's still not confirmed, but he will be. But I think it is critical as we come into such an unstable world, is seeing that we've got a government and the policies that are going to impact industry and whatever. So I always enjoy listening to Stephen. I'm really looking forward to seeing him on stage and hearing him kind of wade through what British politics has been up to and where it's heading. So, because it does directly impact us both personally and from a business point of view.
Absolutely. And I think one thing we're all hoping for is we don't get a change of transport minister, right? Because that'll be another transport minister we have to start reaching into, re-educating, talking to. I think, we've had many over the last few years. So I think keeping that stability in that space would be very helpful if Mr. Burnham is listening and his team. I think cabinet reshuffle is coming, but we don't know who's going where.
And this is the issue for people listening in that are not across some of the government issues and lobbying and what we're going to do. I really foresee a very busy summer/winter for us, because if he comes in and has different views around expansion at UK airports, maybe around the rail strategy moving forward. I'm not saying he will do, but these are all issues we've got to be right across, because suddenly there's a whole change in emphasis potentially that impacts our members, our customers, and our partners. So we do have to be very alert to that and start, working with, as you say, potentially new ministers and convincing them to hear the story of business travel and how important it is. So, it's not without a bit of jeopardy for us as an industry seeing a new Prime Minister come into power.
Absolutely. So the political landscape is always a very well received conversation, one of our annual conference. But we've got another headline speaker this year, somebody slightly different, right, Clive?
We do. We have a lady called Bonita Norris, who is one of the young, I think she is the youngest female to have climbed Everest, giving her fair dues, to kind of give a real impact around working through adversity. And fascinating stories she's got. So I don't think I want to say too much more than that, but I think people are going to really enjoy listening to Bonita. You and I have chatted to her and really like the story. So something to finish the conference on in a slightly different vein. And I think as I say, we won't say too much more than that. You've got to sign up to come along and listen to Steve and, of course, to Bonita as well. And a lot of other good content. A gentleman called Lloyd Figgins, who's also spoken to us before, talking about travel risk. And let's be honest, there's a fair amount of risk right now in travel, and he's going to give us an update of that. One of the things our directors highlighted as a concern for the industry moving forward was the more complex and more dangerous travel. So we reacted, and we got Lloyd to come and give us some really fascinating insights into some of the stuff that he is seeing, and how that kind of industry is moving forward, because it's something we and our members work very closely alongside.
Yeah, traveller risk, traveller safety. I think it never go away, right? When we think things are calm, things pop up and challenge us. So I think it's always nice to just keep it in the forefront of everyone's mind. I think it's important, and when people are travelling, that they remain safe, they understand the risks of the destinations they're going to, and they get there and back safely.
And a big part of what TMCs do, in case you weren't aware, that's managing that piece. And I hear a rumor that actually we've got a moderator that's coming, very similar kind of heritage to that of our potential new Prime Minister. Is that a rumor I've heard correct?
I can't comment. No comment at the moment. The moderator I think you're thinking about is currently injured. So let's see how that pans out.
So if we're confusing the listeners, Andrew is going to be doing it. And as I'm speaking to him now, looking at him, he's wincing at every word that's coming out due to a recent procedure, shall we say?
Yes. Visit to hospitals. So good shout out to the NHS and the fine work that they do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just before that, literally, we're recording this on a Monday, which is usually a little later than we are because of your visit to the National Health Service. But we have our sustainability conference tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to moderating with some great speakers. And that's going to be a good day in London.
Yeah, I think the Planet Plan Council have done some good work over the last few months. So I think it'd be nice to see it all coming together. Got good numbers, a few buyers turning up as well, I believe, Clive. So always good to see the buyers in the room, just sort of listening to their perspective on what they're being asked within their businesses and by their travellers and by their organisations. So to connect in with what the TMCs and the suppliers are delivering. So yeah, should be a good day. Shame I can't join you, but I'm sure I'm going to hear all about it once it's over.
You will do. Keep an eye on our social kind of channels to see what's going on. Actually, that's a good point. There's social channels. I'm also wondering if people have seen a bit of a change. We've refreshed and taking a bit of a new approach to our socials as well, haven't we?
We have, yeah. We've brought in a bit of an expert, I would say. We all dabbled in it.
From us amateurs playing with it.
From us amateurs, absolutely, yes, absolutely. And, we all dabbled in it, and I think everyone does dabble in social media. But when you've got somebody who really understands the algorithms, understands when to post, how to post, what content should be really sort of picking up the engagement that we want to pick up, right? I think the thing is about the BTA, we want to engage with the wider community on a regular basis. We want to hear feedback. We want to hear people's thoughts. We want people to collaborate and discuss and debate things with us. I think that's what we're all about as an association. So if we can get the right content out there and that drives that, then we're doing something right. So please, for those listeners, have a look at some of our content, specifically in the LinkedIn space, and give us your thoughts, give us your feedback, and get engaged with us.
Yeah, good shout, good shout. I should not let a podcast like this disappear without just mentioning our accreditation, which we introduced at Business Travel Show. And I think we're up to 10 members now being accredited. And I know 2 or 3 in the pipeline that are coming in. So that's really good and been truly well received across it. So again, if you want to find out more, please do check out our website for that or get in contact with me for the members' perspective. So we'll keep updating people.
And I think what I like about that, Clive, going back to what I've just said, is it's created a discussion. It's created a discussion in the industry. Some people are questioning it. Some people are jumping on board with it. But that's the whole point, right? The whole point is to get the industry talking about what TMCs do and what they do well and what we deliver, what the BTA is there to support and drive within the industry. And it's there to drive change. And if we can be part of that, the only way you drive change is through discussion. So let's keep the conversation going.
Fully agree. It's had some great debate around it, and we will continue to look at other ways of making sure that continues the debate and other opportunities to raise the profile of our sector. So, almost coming to the end, but I know you wanted a quick update on the Industry Partner Board. Is another big part of what we do, and you've been doing a lot of work with them in kind of refresh renew scenario.
Yeah, a little bit like the new government, right? I think we're getting a new partner board in over the next week. We've got our first board meeting this week when we will introduce the new partner board members, and then we will be getting information and sharing that who they are out onto our social media channels and out into the wider industry world. And I'm really excited. We've got a good breadth of experience. We've got a real diversity of understanding of the industry and what sectors they're from. So I think it's going to really add a huge benefit to the BTA with this board joining. And yeah, we'll be setting them some key objectives, making sure that they're aligned with what the BTA's focus is for the next 12 to 18 months. And hopefully they'll feel beneficial for being on the board. So keep an eye out for this space, keep an eye out for the posts and the information coming out. And they all will be revealed probably at the beginning of next week.
Exciting. Look forward to hearing about that and getting engaged. It's a really important part of what we do. And just before we finish up, I also just a little heads up on our accessibility group have been working really hard on a second paper, which is exclusively for members, which is telling some personal stories around the difficulty of traveling for work if you have additional accessibility needs. So again, some really great work coming out of that and some more content and resource for our members that they will find extremely useful. So lots been going on, although we kind of said it's slowed down a lot. There's lots going in under the hood, as they say, to keep this industry moving. So it would be remiss, just as we finish up, to not mention the World Cup. I think we did refer to it a little earlier on. We're sitting here ahead of the semi-finals, and of course many of our members will have been involved in moving teams and supporters around as an aside, but we sit here on the edge of our seats looking forward to England, Argentina, and we were discussing before we started recording, feeling relatively optimistic, I think, both of us, but the usual England
50-50, Clive, 50-50.
That's sitting on the fence. Of course,
exactly.
If there's anybody out there that would like to take us and for us to do a live podcast, even from the semi-final, and if we make it to the final, I think I'm available. But,
I'm not.
You can't travel, can you?
I'm not fit to fly just yet, Clive. So unfortunately, I will be watching it on my Can't even have a drink and do it that way. So yeah, I'll be watching it on the comfort of my sofa this week,
and not being able to leap up and cheer when we score either.
Exactly. Yes.
So there we go. But everybody, get behind England if that is your country of origin. Let's hope we win. It will raise everything in the country, from morale to many things, if we can do well out of it, and that will leave us into the second half of the year as we, God forbid, head towards winter with a little bit of smile on our face. So there we are. Good talking. If there's anything you want to pick, please do check out our website or drop Andrew or I a line if you want anything discussions talked about or just to find out more. We're always happy to hear from you. So on that note, it's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.